Hello everyone, it's Miss Titus here. So the next assignment is going to be an assignment where we use the shadows of objects in order to create a new drawing. So I have a couple of objects here. You guys only have to do one drawing, only one drawing is required, but I think it's interesting to play around with different objects and see what kind of shadows they create. So right here I have a little toucan and a little teddy bear, something that doesn't have like a specific shadow. I'm not really gonna know what the shadow looks like until I see it, whereas like a cup would be a little bit more simple, where I would be able to predict or guess what the shadow looks like based off of the shape of the cup. I feel like with something a little bit weirder shaped, you get some more interesting results. So like I said, you only have to do one, but I'm going to show you an example with two objects. My first thing I want to do is set my paper down in front of me and the object right on the paper, and I'm doing this on the side of the paper. Okay, I want to make sure that I have plenty of room to create my shadow. As you guys can see from the light in my window, I already have a shadow on this paper, but it's not very clear. So what I might do is move closer to the window where the light's coming through. That's one option. Maybe move closer to a light that's in your house. But I think the easiest thing to do is either get your phone or somebody's phone, make sure you have permission if it's not yours, or a flashlight, and use the flashlight setting. And this we can position in different spots to create shadows in different directions. So let's think about this for a second. If my light's here, why is my shadow on that side? Okay, if my light's here, why is the shadow on this side? Okay, now that you've had a moment to think about it, we want to think about if the light's coming here, what's happening to the light when it hits here? Is it being stopped by this? Is the light being stopped by this object? Is it blocking the light from hitting the paper? Okay, so think about that as you're doing this assignment. So after you decide what shadow that you want by moving your light source around, you're going to take a pencil. It might be better if you have somebody else hold the light for this, because you have to make sure that you hold super still. I'm just going to lightly sketch out, and this doesn't have to be exact. It might help if you put your phone or your light on something, which I think I should have done. All right, trying to get it back to the spot. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. Just try your best to hold it still or have somebody help you. Okay, one side is going to be a little bit open, so what you can just kind of do is make it up or close it so it's a closed object. So now I have I can turn off my light. Let's do that first. Get that out of the way. So now I have a kind of a weird shape. And I want you guys to think about the assignment that we did at the beginning of the year where we turned something, turned a scribble into a drawing. I think this will be a little bit easier than that because we have a shape to start from. You guys, once you get this shadow shape, you can create any type of drawing that you can think of. Okay, just like with the scribble challenge, you can turn, let me show you this way. You can turn your paper in different ways to see what can I make out of this object. And if you don't like it, you can always flip the paper over and do a different shadow with a different direction of the light or a different object. So, what can I make out of this? Do I want to make some kind of creature, animal? Do I want to make something made up? Do I want to make something that's similar to the object that I got my shadow from? think what I see is, I think maybe like a toadstool or mushroom kind of situation, like where this is the top. Okay. And then obviously I have this kind of like weird part over here. So I think I'm just going to make this the end of where my mushroom stops. I'm doing this upside down, so I'm trying my best, guys. So I'm just going with a basic outline first, and then I can go in and add my details. So I got my like toadstool or mushroom. Now I gotta figure out what this is gonna be. Do I want to have it to be some kind of creature? Do I want to make it some kind of like fairy or something? I think it kind of looks like a snout almost of some kind of animal. So I'm just going to make that a little bit darker and see, what can I turn that into? Kind of see like a little fur here. Okay, off camera, I went in and made my outline a bit darker just so it was easier for you guys to see. Also, if you want to change your outline a little bit, that is okay, but I would suggest not doing it too much. Okay, off camera, I did make this line go up a little bit more. It was actually more flat on the top, but I want to make it like a kind of like a chubby like groundhog or gopher kind of situation. So I want to go in. They usually got like some kind of black nose. Maybe make it a little bit darker so you guys can see. I'm going to create my mouth right here. I like doing that little line right there to make it like it's smiling. Cute little cheek. I can add my eye. See out here. Again, drawn upside down, so sorry, it's not the best work that I've done. So now that's a pretty simple drawing. And when I go back in to color it, I can go in and add more detail. It's not required that you color it, but I would definitely suggest at least shading it with your pencil. Remember we talked about shading a little bit with our other assignments. So when we're shading, I'm just going to hold my pencil farther back and use the side of the pencil lead or graphite to shade it in. And depending on how hard or light I press, I can make it darker, or if I barely press at all, lighter. Okay, so we just have 3 different shades or values right here just from using my pencil. So I don't need to color it to make it look more detailed. So now that I got my basic outlines or shapes, I can go back in and add more detail. So toadstools or mushrooms, like the cool looking ones, usually have some polka dots. So I'll add some of those and maybe have some smaller ones and some bigger ones. Make it more interesting. You don't have to follow the rules of what a specific animal or plant or object looks like. You can kind of make it up as long as it's school appropriate. Okay. Alright, so I got some dots. Maybe add like a half dot here. They usually have some like stripes. So I'm just going in with my pencil and adding details. Okay, and that is how you create a drawing from a shadow. And like I said, you have the option to draw more than one. So if you have another object lying around, you can play with that. And we're using a flashlight. And see. If you look at that shadow, it's not really what you would think the shadow of a teddy bear would look like, is it? You can change the direction of your object. Okay, what does it look like now? Change where your light's coming from. Make it look a little bit more different. So just play around with it, guys, and see what you come up with. Again, the only requirement is that you draw at least one drawing from the shadow of an object, and that you add detail to it, you either using line, texture, shading, or color. Okay, it's up to you guys, as long as it's school appropriate. Okay, so think about, what do you show this in the school? If I were to display it in the hallway, would it be acceptable to see for everyone? Okay, and up. All right. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you post it in the comments below, and I will make this video public, so hopefully if nobody has any issues accessing the video. I had a couple of videos where even though I shared it with everyone in the class, they were still having issues getting to it, which I'm not really sure why. But good luck, everyone, and I miss you guys.